It's summertime in the garden. I'm surrounded by pumpkin vines. I'm surrounded by huge tomato vines everywhere. Even if you were to look carefully into the tree, that, my dear, is the midst of a living vine. Here I am in the garden to praise the Lord with you. Emmanuel, God is with us. Emmanuel, God is with us. Well, it's time. The pepper that was purple, that was green, and then it was purple is now red. So, yeah. I picked one off when it was purple, but I now see I should have waited. That's what they look like. Well, that's what some of them look like. This plant has tons of stuff going on. These flowers look pretty. They're so pretty. I don't know what kind they are. I planted a bunch of California wallflowers. Didn't get many because of the drought, but this one came up and it's beautiful. Then the sweet peas. It's almost July. Sweet peas are still going good. I quit harvesting them for flowers because now I'm going to harvest the seed for next year's sweet peas. Why should I have to buy sweet pea seeds 2 years in a row? All I have to do is not be greedy, right? Simple. Now let's go over here to my beloved black vernissage and get some fruit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're going in there. Let me see. The leaves of the tomato vine are making it difficult for you to see it. But I can see it. Beautiful lunch fruit. Yeah. Oh my goodness. There's 3 over here. Let's not dilly-dally. I don't want to leave the fruit because I think when the fruit is ripe, it becomes burdensome and stops other fruit from getting ripe. So I leave a few for the creatures that share my food with me, but not many. I don't want to leave too many. Okay. White butterfly, you know, the mother of the little worms that chew on our fruits and veggies. I love her. And see, there's my cabbages, that my broccolis that had been chewed on. As you can see, they're recovering just fine. Things don't mind being eaten, guys. It's not a big deal. And I have these beautiful butterflies, beautiful lilies, beautiful sunflowers, and beautiful Jimmy Nardello peppers. I'm gonna go see if any of these are ready for me. It takes like a video on this, but oh my goodness. It smells so wonderful. And this one does the best for me. This is a hybrid that was created, I believe, in Northern California. Stargazer Lily. Isn't she gorgeous? Oh my goodness. One's already gone on to glory, but 5 Stargazers Lilies. And if I had this in a little shadier spot, the blooms would last even longer. But I mean, I can't complain. It's been, I think, a few weeks. It took a week or so to open up fully. And so I've gotten to enjoy these blooms for a week already. And hopefully I'll get another week out of it. But the original lily is opening up. This is Casablanca, also called the Madonna lily because she's all white with the same powdery tip on the end. She's opening up slowly. Lily's just as big, but the plant is much smaller. And she's beautiful too. And you guys, these Oriental Lilies give you a wonderful presence of smell. They're just fabulous. If you can get the situation straight where they're not in too much sun, not in too much shade, they can bloom for a month. But you know, I tried, and the one that I tried to have a little bit more shade didn't bloom at all. So, you know, I'd rather have 2 or 3 weeks blooms than no blooms. A little larkspur. My larkspur's pretty tiny. Larkspur are not supposed to grow in my area, but they do. They aren't as showy in my area as they are in cooler areas. My larkspur's only 1 foot tall. But my delphinium is just fabulous. It's just now, I've been pinching it to keep the blooms back because I wanted a big show from the only plant that I got. And as a result, I think it's still gonna bloom. And the blooms are gonna be like at least 4 foot tall because a plant is 2 foot tall. The blooms are finishing up their show. They really hung in there. This was a good spot for them. I had nasturtiums here. This is too much sun, too much heat right now. But over here where it's a little less sun, they're still performing. All the other nasturtiums are gone. But I showed them to you when they were in their glory, guys. And the show for them lasts for 2 or 3 seasons. You can get them in the winter sometimes. You can get them in the spring. And then they barely touch summer. If you want to, you might be able to get them in the fall. Little pot flowers. This is Nicotiana. She's been blooming for 2 or 3 weeks. I bought her in bloom. She's staying in bloom. Very florific. I've started pulling off the seed heads because I don't want the seed blowing over, because I think these bother tomatoes and peppers. So you're not supposed to grow them in the same space. But in a little pot in the greenhouse, they seem to be doing fine. Another Nicotiana, and you can see she's blooming just fine, along with my basil. I put this one in here too. The blooms on this one, as you can see, they all died almost as soon as I put it in there. I bought it fully in bloom, but I believe next year it'll be fine. It's a perennial in my area, so it's fine. I really like the look of the basil and the Nicotiana. This is a kind of greeny, serene yellow, Serene yellow, an acid kind of yellow color, very green, unique. I wasn't sure if I wanted it or not for that reason. Let me get some of this basil to go with my tomatoes. Basil's kind of hard for me because basil likes warmer weather than I have, so this basil in a pot does better for me than my basil in the ground. I'm trying out a basil in the ground that is a dual color basil. This is sweet basil here. This is most of our favorite. You know, most of us love our sweet basil. I'm checking to make sure. You want to leave some nodes on it because that's where your next layer of basil will come out of. And that's how you can get the most from your basil, even if you're having to grow it in a pot. And as you can see, basil's pretty drought tolerant. It's growing with succulents. Not a lot of water going on in this pot. But, you know, everything in here, including the Nicotiana, is very drought tolerant in my area. People say it's not drought tolerant, but it needs a lot of water. But that's not the case in my area. See, I'm making sure there's some place for that basil to spring up for you. You don't want to behead your basil like that one's, nah, it's too risky and I need my food. This the cyclamen bloomed out for the summer. I didn't know they were going to bloom for me a second time. They stay in bloom such a long time when they're in bloom. It didn't die back. And here it is, the month of June. We had overcast, so it was shorter days. And I've got those beautiful red cyclamen flowers with the petunias. And the dianthus in this pot is carrying on. How about that? See, most of it died, but I'm figuring after it settles in, since it's a perennial, it'll be all right. And my favorite for foliage, the old man wormwood. An oddity for me, this is red clover. Clover usually doesn't flower in my area because it is not a zone 10 plant. I don't even think it's a zone 9 plant. but I put mine in the refrigerator, and oddly enough, I actually got a red clover flower this year. One, just one. And the bees are not even going for it. This clover is supposed to be something they like, but in my area, bees don't know anything about red clover. They only know about white. Salvias I planted because a guy I follow named Jim Putnam said the bees like them. The bees aren't even looking at my salvias. Maybe I'll try a different color. There are, this is another thing that Jim Putnam told me to try, that the pollinators would like it. As you can see, I don't see any pollinators on mine. Maybe this variety doesn't have a whole lot. You guys, this is not a weed. I eat that, and I'm really happy with that variety because it has long leaves. I tend to eat it in the spring. When it's hot like this, the leaves are very bitter, so I tend to not eat it at this time of the year. Not that I don't enjoy it, but they sell it in my grocery store. So to those of you who pull it up, bully for you. That's food medicine for me. Here, grab this summer squash. Yeah, it didn't get pollinated. I don't know what happened. See, it fell off and it's so tiny. And I did everything I could to get pollinators. That's the size it fell off. Oh well. This flower will bring bees. I don't know where my bees are. Last year this flower brought a lot of bees. Well, I guess it was enough bees for the beans, because look at that. I got tons of beans. Gonna eat those. My first Gabiosa flower. I'm really excited about that. It took 3 weeks to fill out and it smells so lovely. This one smells beautiful. I got the seed from the seeds of Italy. Grab a few strawberries. These are sequoia. Come on. Woo! Now let's get us some salad. Yeah. Looks like it's getting ready to go to flower, but it isn't in flower yet. It's still salad. Yep. So I'll just take off the heads. I don't know if I'm delaying it from going to flower, but that's okay. I've already done my second planting, so I'm not gonna worry about it. This one, oh yeah, this one's already gone to seed, as has this one. So I should have plenty of lettuce for next year. Looks like we got a little wilting going on here, and I need my summer squash. Get some of this. This is plantain, but this is the kind of lettuce you have to eat in my area, you know. And this is very popular now. They sell this in all the stores. You could just cut these. It comes back. Plantain's very hardy. It is an herb, and in many places a weed. Not in my area. It won't grow from seed in my area unless I put it in the freezer. Now this is unique. The last one turned red. Now this one is looking like it's going to turn orange. It's just got a blusher color. I guess it's going to turn red like the last one, so I'll take my chances and give it another day because I got a lot of fruit. Nah, I'm gonna take it. You guys, it's not that much fruit, and it's not that much big fruit, so yeah. Better to have laughed and loved than never to have loved at all.